right, hello. My name is Jordan Courtney. Um, I'm here with my peers today to talk about one of the largest airlines within the United States, and that is Southwest Airlines. We'll be going through all the different management functions and styles that they have, as well as what they do within the aviation industry. So to go ahead and kick it off, I'll just pass it to Isaac.
Hello all, my name is Isaac Anderson, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about the role of Southwest Airlines, and then later on, I'm also going to be talking about the organization and administration aspects as well. So a little bit of background about Southwest Airlines. The initial Southwest idea was created in a hotel bar located in San Antonio, Texas. This was in 1967. And so the original business plan was developed by Herb Kelleher and Roland King. And they were in this hotel bar, and what they did was on this napkin, they connected three lines. And the idea, the concept was that these three lines were going to connect Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio. So as we know today, this business plan ultimately worked. It should be noted, though, that at the time it only worked in Texas because of the federal government's tight control of interstate air travel. So in October of 1978, that changed when the Airline Deregulation Act was signed into law by President Jimmy Carter. And so according to a website owned by Southwest, which goes by Southwest Airlines Media, in 2019 alone, the company brought in a net income of $2.3 billion, over 134 million of which was in the revenue brought in just by passengers carried. So with this information in mind, it's definitely safe to say that Southwest has been a very successful business since its conception in 1967. As far as the company's website goes, the Southwest customer is greeted with an opening page that gets right to the point, booking a flight. Included in other locations on this first page are some links for hotel, rental car, and vacation planning services, as well as some other information regarding why the customer should fly Southwest. And so although the website is quite easy to navigate using the various links and information headers, the visual appeal of the site isn't really unique or memorable. The main point, the main purpose of the site is definitely just for productivity, because the peak of their visual creativity seems to be rooted just in kind of the Southwest style blue lettering on a plain white background. Either way, it gets the job done effectively for travelers. So I will now hand it off to Joanna.
Hi, my name is Joanna Bachtel. I'm going to talk about Chapter 2's management functions. Southwest Airlines has led the industry in terms of profitability for many years, and they say the reason for that is their leadership style. Southwest is known for its servant leadership. Servant leadership is a leadership philosophy in which the goal of the leader is to serve, differing from traditional leadership, where the leader's main focus is the thriving of their company or organization. Former President Colleen Barrett said back in 2008, at the top of our pyramid in terms of the most important priority that we have is our employees. And if we treat them right, delivering proactive service to our employees, if I do a good enough job and my fellow peers do a good enough job of that, they in turn spend their life trying to assure that the second most important person in our pyramid, which is our passengers, feels good about the service that they are getting because they are getting proactive customer service delivered. She goes on to say that when they have happy customers, hopefully some of them come back for more, and that keeps the shareholders who are at the bottom of the pyramid satisfied. Their leadership style leads right into their mission statement. The mission of Southwest Airlines is dedication to the highest quality of customer service, delivered with the sense of warmth, friendliness, individual pride, and company spirit. Directly from Southwest.com, their core values for each individual person is to show up with pride, integrity, and humility. To represent the company, they are about teamwork, honesty, and service with love. And as a whole, Southwest succeeds with efficiency, discipline, and excellence. Now to you, George.
Hey, I'm George Bogard. I'm going to be talking about the marketing side of Southwest. So as we briefly discussed, Southwest is one of the biggest, like the world's largest low-cost carrier, meaning it's an airline that is operated with minimizing operating costs without using some of the traditional services that other airliners use, resulting in a lower ticket. And I would say the mass market that Southwest is trying to hit is the middle class rather than the higher class, just because, as I mentioned, it's such a mass market, they could easily profit off of it. Some advertisements they do have that they want people to know when they are trying to book an airline ticket is that Southwest gives you 2 free checked bags per passenger. So instead of charging them per bag, that helps out a lot. Also, if you need to change your flight, they have a no charge fee that so you can cancel your ticket in like the last 10 minutes of when you're supposed to take off. Not only that, but Southwest has a reward system. So if you continue to fly with them, you will earn points so you can keep flying. And last thing I want to talk about is like they're just good at what they do. You know, if they weren't, then they wouldn't be where they are today, making profits for almost over 40 years. So back to you, Joanna.
In Chapter 5, we discussed human resources. And not only does Southwest have an amazing knack for leadership, their recruiting philosophy is also one that takes the cake. Southwest says that they're hire the right people at the right time with the right attitude. Says that they hire the right people at the right time with the right attitude. Their mantra is hire for attitude. They know that anyone can be trained for any job, but changing an attitude is not easy. Their hiring process always opens with a job description of a warrior spirit, a servant's heart, and a fun-loving attitude. Those are the 3 traits Southwest always looks for in potential employees. They hold group interviews in order to observe how applicants interact with others. And Southwest's unique culture doesn't end during the hiring process. After being hired, employees have to go through a probation period involving periodic evaluations. They go through many training courses to understand the company, to understand leadership, personal development, and career success, totaling in 8 training centers. All this to say, Southwest truly does care about its people, and they are very careful about who they let into their organizations. Now back to Isaac.
So now we're going to talk about the organization and administration side of things in regards to Southwest Airlines. So as a reminder, there are 3 main formal internal structures to consider for any business to operate under. These are functional, line, and line and staff. And as the textbook mentions, many aviation businesses often need to utilize all 3 of these structures at least occasionally to properly conduct the necessary operations. Southwest is no exception to this fact. So just as a little review, a functional structure may be used by a supervisor to be in charge of a specific project, but not in charge of specific employees. And then the employees work together to accomplish this project or this function. But what can better be applied to Southwest's internal structure is line organization. So this is where a supervisor is in charge of a specific operational unit, which is being run by employees. And there can be different layers of management with this style. So one person can be in charge of another person who is yet in charge of another individual, and so on. And then there's line and staff organization. And so this is like line organization, but the staff element adds a sort of medium to inform line managers about the technical details of the employee operations that are being performed. And so this helps managers and higher ups accomplish their jobs better. So for example, the current CEO of Southwest, Gary Kelly, is in charge of the entire line of managers and higher ups who are in turn in charge of the lower staff. So say captain to officer or chief flight attendant to flight attendant. And then these staff help inform management of the given situational information so that the management can better accomplish their goals. In terms of the legal structure of Southwest, based off of the information that I was able to gather, including an analysis of the company's organizational structure by Panmure Institute, Southwest runs under a very centralized corporate entity. It is a corporation. This is the most advantageous way to run a company, and really almost the only feasible way to run a company as large as Southwest. And so even though there are a couple negative sides to running a corporation, such as they're costly to set up and the existence of closer financial regulations on a federal level, advantages do include the federal government's recognition of corporations as separate legal entities. There are various tax advantages. There's delegated authority, which we talked about a little bit previously, and the potential for a broad skill base based off of the size and complexity of the business. So I will now hand it off to George.
Hi again. I will be going over now customer service. So according to the Department of Transportation, Southwest hardly gets any customer complaints. In fact, they are ranked #1 on providing the best customer service. So with that being said, it seems like Southwest customer service approach is to being more kind than to being really fast and efficient. And it's honestly really easy to get in contact with them. You can just Google Southwest Airlines customer service and a number pops up, and they're really nice people. And yeah, now I'll pass it on to Jordan.
All right, so flight operations. So as everyone knows, Southwest Airlines is in the airline industry, and with over 60,000 employees and 4,000 departures at peak holiday seasons, they're definitely one of the largest and busiest airlines within the United States and within the industry. They offer flights to almost every single state within the United States and almost all of Central America and the countries within them. Everyone knows Southwest Airlines for the passenger side of everything. However, they also offer charter services for large groups, as like football teams and just school field trips and things like that. And that can be up to 175 passengers all the way down to 143 for that special service that they offer. And they also offer Southwest Cargo. This is offered in 48 different states, and really anyone can use it. However, it's mostly marketed towards companies, because not only can they do just small boxes just like FedEx and UPS can do, but they also can ship large pallets of goods, which is great for businesses that need to transport items all over the United States. So that's about all their flight operations. And then next is their safety, security, and liability side of the business. Of course, within the industry, safety plays a large role in everything that we do. And being an airline, there are plenty of risks, things that can go wrong and things like that. So one of the first insurances that most all airlines should have, but of course Southwest does have, is public liability insurance. Public liability insurance covers anything that can be damaged by the airplane. This also includes, for example, like ground support equipment and airport facilities such as hangars. The plane itself, or anything or anyone that is inside isn't covered though. Therefore, you might want something. Therefore, sometimes people might refer to this as a third-party liability. And in most countries, public liability insurance is mandatory for the airline to have. The next I'll discuss real quick is ground risk hull insurance. And this is actually split up into two parts. The first one's in motion, and the other half is not in motion. The first one is in motion. Aircrafts, as everyone knows, are very delicate. Whether it be parking, driving to the gate, or being towed, these can all lead to minor or even major accidents. And that's where really the ground risk hull insurance in motion comes in. Although the name implies it, the coverage protects, of course, not only the hull, but the whole plane. itself against physical damage. Then the other half of that would be not in motion for the ground risk hull insurance. There's usually three possibilities a plane can be in. Either it flies, it rolls on the ground, or it stands on the ground. And this first coverage protects the aircraft when it's standing still or presumably incapable of causing self-inflicted damage. Damages caused by natural hazards and disasters like floods, fires and storms, collapsing hangars. These are all covered under the non-in-motion ground risk hull insurance. And the last insurance I'll cover that Southwest does have is the passenger liability insurance. Since the passengers on the plane aren't covered by typical public liability insurance, this insurance protects injured people on board the aircraft. Not every plane in the sky is carrying passengers, so this insurance is usually only for commercial aircraft, mandatory that is. And public liability insurance and passenger liability insurance are sometimes combined to be called CSL, combined single limit. And this type of insurance covers all types of liability and claims for individual accidents, including, for example, cargo legal liability. So that's all I got for the safety and insurance liability part of that. And I'll go ahead and pass it to Isaac to wrap this thing up.
So in short, Southwest Airlines is a company that started with a simple but ambitious vision. In other words, two guys walked into a bar and Southwest was born.
So, as we've discussed, Southwest utilizes intelligent strategies to achieve their goals, something I assume they'll only get better at as their operations continue. So, from their management functions to their marketing techniques, as well as their flight operations, Southwest certainly sets the bar for the airline industry and even the more general aviation industry at large. And thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time if there is one.